One of the questions I get asked all the time is what actually happens in a rewired session? Honestly, I love this question so much because I know how mysterious my work can sound. People hear words like subconscious, conversational hypnosis, energy, intuitive, and they picture something dramatic or strange, like I've got some formula I run every single time. And the truth is, a session is a lot simpler and a lot more human than people expect. So today, I want to take you behind the scenes and show you what it's actually like to work with me. I'm going to start with this. There is no script. I don't come in with a list of questions I ask every single client, and I don't decide beforehand what we're going to find. I know for some people that sounds absolutely terrifying, but every woman who sits across from me has something completely different to say, a different story, a different history, a different way that she's learned to protect herself. And if I came in with an agenda, I'd probably miss the thing that actually matters the most. So instead, I just listen. We start with what's true today. People assume we have to dig into childhood right away. Not necessarily. We start with what's alive right now. What's frustrating you? Where you feel stuck? What keeps repeating? Sometimes it comes out as something small, like, I've worked so hard on myself. Why does my life still look the same? That's enough to start with because today's pattern almost always points back toward yesterday's story. I'm listening for the words that repeat. As you're talking, I'm not just listening to the story. I'm listening for the words you keep coming back to. Small, safe, I don't matter, strong, vulnerable. A lot of my questions are just your own words handed back to you. You'll say, I've always been the strong one. And instead of moving on, I'll ask what strong means to you or what happens if you're not. Sometimes I'll just repeat a phrase back, almost word for word, and let it sit there. That alone tends to open something up. We follow the thread. It's probably the best way to, this is probably the best way to describe this work. One phrase leads to a question. That question leads to another one, and we just keep following it. Sometimes it leads to a memory, sometimes to a belief you didn't realize you were still carrying. Sometimes it's to a decision that you made about yourself years ago without ever consciously choosing it. I'll often ask something simple like, then what? Or what does that mean about you? And just keep going until we hit something real. We track where it lives in the body. At some point, I'll usually ask where that feeling sits in your body. Not always, but usually. Is it in your chest, your throat, your stomach? What does it feel like? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it heavy? Is it light? This isn't a technique for the sake of it. The body usually knows something before the words catch up to it. Someone might realize a coldness in their chest has been sitting there for years, holding something they never said out loud. Naming that is often where the real shift starts. So, this is the moment that happens in a lot of sessions. I can't predict it and I can't force it, but I recognize it every time. The conversation slows down. Someone stops explaining. Their breathing changes. Sometimes there's tears. Sometimes it's quiet for a while. And usually, what comes after isn't some grand insight. It's something a lot more subtle. I've talked about this for years, but nobody's ever asked me that. Or simply feeling lighter in the chest where something used to sit heavy. We don't stay stuck in the past. People sometimes worry we're going to spend the whole session picking apart everything that's ever happened to them. We don't. Understanding the past is useful, living there isn't. Once we can see where the pattern came from, the question becomes different. Who are you without this story? What happens if this belief isn't running things anymore? That is usually where a session starts moving toward a decision, not just an understanding. Every session is different. No two sessions look the same. Some people cry, some people sit quietly, some leave with one sentence they'll carry with them, some leave a completely different with a completely different plan for their week. There's no length, no fixed formula. A session takes as long as it needs, not a set number of hours. I work on results. If you've ever wondered what it's like to work with me, I hope this gave you a real look behind the curtain, not because I want you to understand every part of this process. Some of it is really just better experienced than explained, but I want you to know this. You don't have to show up with the right words or your story perfectly organized or already know it's wrong. You just have to be willing to get curious because real transformation rarely starts with having all of the answers. It starts with feeling safe enough to ask a better question. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this answered something you were curious about, let me know in the comments. And if there's anything else that you are wondering about my process, I'd love to make another behind the scenes video for you. And I will see you in the next one.